And so with today's session, we're going to start with Alstro's recon in Brimrad first. Then we're gonna hop back to you guys getting there, and then kind of go from. So Alstro, shortly before the Zodians get there, you are leaving, correct?
I am going like that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, because right. So that night after the meeting and all that, you
I'm gonna try a thing.
Yes. So I assume you're leaving the town a bit, and then you're gonna try it.
Yeah. Or just go like to a safe place.
Yeah.
In the town where like I won't be bothered.
And okay, yeah. So yeah, you'll be able to find somewhere up to that kind of idea. Can I have you make a check with whatever magic skill you want, which I guess you light magic. Can you make it against 3 difficulty? I'm gonna say, because it's your first time ever trying this, I'm gonna give you a setback dice. But I'm also gonna give you a boost dice because it is a place that you're rather familiar with.
I thought you were gonna make me upgrade it, or are you making me upgrade it?
Actually, yeah. Instead of the boost dice, do make it an upgrade. That's a better idea.
Or setback dice.
Or instead of the setback, rather. I'm still giving you the.
Okay.
Words. Very. Well then. So where exactly do you want to go?
Probably a safe house that I know of.
Okay, yeah. And so you
I won't be accidentally crashing any meetings at.
Yes, that's completely fair. So you want to go to one that you know would be abandoned, right? Okay.
Or like wouldn't be a like. Yeah.
And so you as you close your eyes, when you open them, you see when you open them, you once again kind of have the sight of the ley lines kind of pulsing through the ground, and you find one of a sufficient kind of size, and as you kind of kneel down and touch it, you close your eyes and you concentrate, and with a flash and a crack of energy, you feel your body kind of get really light for a moment. And for you, it's almost instantaneous. You had kind of felt this before when Saya had done this with you before.
Oh, she never actually did that.
Sorry, she did that with Misty. So you actually have not felt this before. You almost feel like your body gets light, but also simultaneously heavy. You feel like your body's compressed into not necessarily uncomfortably so, but is compressed down while simultaneously stretched beyond its limit. And in a flash of an instant, you can almost feel this kind of discorporation, this feeling of kind of like, when you almost miss a step and you have that like momentary like mental hiccup where you like catch yourself. It's kind of like that. But then instead of catching yourself on the next step, you are in the midst of a warehouse in Brimrad. It's abandoned. It looks like people have been here somewhat recently, but like not exceptionally so. and there's kind of a flicker of energy in your hair, kind of slowly unglowing as you kind of end up here, and as you look around, yeah, lo and behold, you are now very much on the other side of the continent.
I'm gonna look outside to see how much time has passed.
Literally none.
Huh. Good to know. I am going to make myself invisible and make my way to a particular church.
Uh-huh. And yeah, so you'll be able to cloak yourself, and it's kind of it's later in the evening, yes?
Yes. Like, it's late.
Yeah, so cover of night, as you head your way over, you're gonna have about just almost 2 weeks of time before they get here to do other roles, which I'll do after some meetings to figure out what you're doing. But yeah, you make your way across town, a town that you're obviously rather familiar with because you grew up not too far from here. And as you do, you find that the streets are being patrolled by individuals whom you recognize. Some of which just being not necessarily people that you know, but like you occasionally will see a face that you recall. You'll see faces of individuals from both the council and from the sons and daughters who are kind of just patrolling the streets, making their way. This area is under your guys' control for the most part. But there is something different about it. It doesn't seem to be quite as strictly patrolled as Dalhurst is. But the district that you come out of is also one of the more poorer districts, and so you of course see a number of homeless individuals like sleeping on the roads and such, kind of making their way in the warm summer morning or summer night, trying to stay hydrated and such as they squat their ways in the streets of this busy port town. When you arrive to the main districts and head over to the old church, the same one that you that you studied the priestly arts at, or so you told your mother. Among that, you as you look through as you look at it, the first thing that you note is that the church itself seems to be a little bit run down, more so than it was before. More so than you remember it before. That said, it definitely still looks like it has been recently occupied. There are a few windows that have been broken. There's some graffiti on some of the sides. Most of the graffiti appears to be either innocuous tags, or in some cases, there are a number of tags from that appear to be both pro Blood of Legala and anti Blood of Legala. But there is a larger majority of pro Blood of Legala, which seems to be in response to the anti. Though some of the things written on here are rather vulgar things said about various nobles and various religious figures of the faith of 3 and 5.
I'm wondering if it's deliberate or just. So I guess given the fact that it was discovered, they probably abandoned this place. But nonetheless, I'm invisible. I'm going to go inside.
And as you head inside, there is a candle in the far end, and as you go inside, the first thing you notice is that all of the pews have been moved off to the side. What was once a grand chapel of reasonable size still stands, but all of the seating has been kind of moved, except for a couple of pews that still stay in their way. In their place, you see a large amount of stacks of crates, boxes, some of which seem to be empty, some of which seem to be full of supplies, some weapons, some trade goods, farming implements, stuff. There are some bales of hay in the corner. But interestingly enough, while the majority of the area seems to have been kind of turned into makeshift storage of some kind, a couple of pews have kind of been pushed up far into the corner, up in the front right, on top of the altar itself. In addition to that, that's where the source of the candlelight is. Also, there's a candle lit on the nearby desk, or sorry, on the nearby altar rather. And there's two figures that you see sitting one in the in one of the pews that has kind of been pushed up against this. The other in another one of the chairs that a priest or otherwise would sit at during one of the services. You recognize the one in that seat as that is in fact Martin, aka Reynard, aka Bryn, aka all of whatever, who is wearing a simple stole that he often would wear here. An elderly woman that you don't recognize in particular, sitting in the pew in front of him. And the two of them are speaking. Judging from his demeanor and the way that he's carrying himself, he's clearly in his in the persona that he would typically have taken.
And I am not going to interrupt.
As you get closer, and can kind of hear in this abandoned hall, the woman continues to speak and seems to be confessing. And she says, "Deacon, I truthfully, given everything that's happened, I have a dark shadow, a pall over my heart. It is in light of such terrible rumors coming from the capital, and of civil war breaking out of the Haven trees. I've seen 3 generations of Haven trees. To see that the very heart of our nation is sundered. I truly wish that all it made me realize was that Ashling's light need only guide us further, but I find myself worried, scared of uncertain as to what the true path is, what direction we should take. Why has Aisling not come back? Why is she not protecting her children in this time of strife? And Martin kind of leans forward, kind of steepling his hands for a moment. He smiles softly and says, "Sometimes, Gertrude, sometimes the greatest test of our faith are the tests that seem the darkest. I am but a deacon. I don't have all of the answers. But I'm certain that should you keep in mind the tenets of the Ash Codex, keep in mind the things that have kept you and your family safe for generations, the truth will come to you in time. Or at least I pray they do." And she nods and says, "Perhaps you're right, Martin. Perhaps you're right." And she reaches over and grabs one of his hands with both of hers and shakes it. And you do see him kind of almost recoil a bit at that, and she smiles and says, "Thank you, sir." And she gets up and she genuflects before the altar, and she passes by you completely unwitting as she exits the chapel.
So now it's empty.
And now it's empty. And as it is empty, you watch as he stands up. His demeanor shifting subtly as he moves and steps on past you to go and secure the door. And he moves past you, seemingly not noticing you.
And she's probably just going to dispel the illusion.
While you're in front, or while his back is turned to you, or because he moves past you, he would be moving past you.
Probably before he moves past me.
Okay.
Like when she notices that, yeah. I am not going to spook him.
That's fair.
That's a very bad idea.
Also, not a bad thought. And as you're about to drop the spell, you see him kind of stop, and he kind of narrows his eyes, and that's when, and then you drop it, and he stops, and he raises an eyebrow. That was rather swift.
In what sense?
My sources tell me that the Zodians arrived this morning.
That they did.
Aha!
And I arrived after finishing the meeting with the Zodians.
Nope. One. You get one for all. And
So just about an hour ago, I think. Roughly.
Yeah, probably like
Yeah.
an hour to 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I had not known that you'd been practicing teleportation magic, Alstrom.
This was my first time. But I had something urgent to get to you.
And he nods and he does step past you. You, of course, seeing him in his true form, he steps past you and will ensure that the door is secure.
Go.
I assume this place is safe and secure from
It is.
anyone.
As it turns out, while we were out on our sojourn, while we were on our sojourn, the father who was in charge of this chapel passed away. Needless to say,
Unfortunate.
indeed. Needless to say, it's been in some amount of disrepair since then. But such a place still makes a convenient base. Not to mention a great number of people still wish to utilize the shrine for its intended purpose. You'd be amazed at what people confess when they believe that what they say is only between them and their goddess.
Suppose that's an interesting way of gathering information.
I suppose so.
And she just kind of sighs deeply and warily. Something unexpected has arisen.
And his eyes kind of narrow again, and he crosses his arms. This has been happening rather frequently as of late.
Yes, it has. She says with equal wariness.
I'm listening.
So out of character, do you want me to give the cliff notes or just explain the whole thing? Oh no, not the letter first. Oh, not the letter first.
So I guess that's up to you.
Apparently, Aisling left behind servants of hers. Servants of magic that serve the Haven Trees.
And you told him about
Yeah.
that you had seen
Yeah.
creatures like them, as you'd mentioned before.
And Connor gave me some insight as to their nature. They were left behind to serve the Haven Trees. And Connor has effectively been using them as spies. And they have a unique ability in which they're effectively able to see through deception.
There's a beat of silence.
They saw something they shouldn't have. and told Connor.
To if it's a
He turns away from you for a moment. Leave it to the machinations of the goddesses to throw complications into this plan. Very well then. What does your brother plan to do with this information, Alstromeria?
From what he says, nothing.
Nothing.
He informed his second before he informed me. Otherwise, I would have told him not to do that. But...
The Black Wild Boy.
yes.
He nods.
And he gave me a letter to deliver with you. His concerns more lie with the council and your position within the council. As it stands, given, well, how I've presented things, he doesn't believe that I hold much weight as far as the council is concerned. So he essentially wants to talk to someone with more power in it. And she hands over the letter.
Of course he does. And he'll take the letter and he'll quickly read it. He'll fold it back up. He'll kind of I'll have to hand it to Connor. Most in his position would use this opportunity to try and leverage this information to coerce me into working with the blood of Legal. He was wise in not trying to do that.
I don't believe he's that type of person.
So it seems. That said, I have no intention of meeting with him.
I figured as much.
It would accomplish nothing. He can believe what he wishes. And if he truly believes that we're as corrupt as the magistrate, then he can continue doing so.
Is there anything you intend to do about this information?
I'll certainly be monitoring if it happens to travel elsewhere. Though the list is growing, only a number of people know about this. If this information is leaked, then I suppose we have a list of potential sources for that leak. That being said, perhaps it would be wise if I were to meet with Cecil. If he were to tell anyone else of this, it would be her. That could be problematic.
My thoughts exactly. I was going to bring that up as an option, as that was what I was worried about.
I find it somewhat endearing that the boy has no intention of telling anyone else. But duress is a powerful thing. If he is captured, if that information is learned elsewhere, that would compromise a great many things that you understand.
I understand. Then I will see to it that he's not captured.
Good. Very good.
Furthermore, I think if anything, if he's unwilling to listen to you on that topic, Cecil might be able to convince him to not let out that information.
Perhaps.
He has his own biases as far as things are concerned, and
We all have our biases, Alstramaria.
I know. That said, now that I'm in Bryn Red, I intend to continue with my previous plan of trying to see who I can convince to join the Blood of Legala, or at least join the cause.
Of course. Understandably, you know that I will not be able to help you directly, but I will ensure that you know how to contact the others, should you choose to do so.
Thank you. Additionally, I was wondering if you knew anything about, well, Julius Blackwild.
Let me roll a check to see if I do. Because I don't.
Wow, that is so meta.
I know, right? There we are. Julius Blackwild. I know of him. I've not met him personally. And I know that that his manor is perhaps a quarter of a day's travel from Brimrad, further to the northwest. Beyond the fact that he's the eldest of the eldest of this last generation, and that his younger sister still inherited their namesake. I know very little else. He keeps himself rather locked up. Suspiciously so, if you ask.
Well, we intend to... The plan that a small group of us from the Blood of Legala are planning to do is utilize some information received from Cassiopeia Star to get him to act against his brother-in-law through blackmail if necessary. Though I'm not sure. I wanted to get a reading on the situation, seeing how best to approach the man. But seeing as he keeps himself guarded, it's probably going to be blind, essentially.
He holds a great deal of influence. I do know that he is still closely tied with the trading operations of his family, of his brother-in-law, and of his late sister. He is wealthy and has a great deal of business acumen, if I were to wager a guess. Likely why he stays out of politics.
Unlike his brother-in-law.
Very unlike his brother-in-law.
Let's hope he continues to be very unlike his brother-in-law.
Let us hope indeed. In the meantime, you are free to use this. You are free to use this old chapel as a base of operations until the others arrive, presumably.
Thank you.
He nods. Of course.
I have an additional question.
An eyebrow raises.
Do I let Connor know I have more clout than I've let him on to believe?
Given his knowledge, of what he knows, of his curiosity, I don't imagine the answer of no will sit well with him.
No.
At the same time, how do you think he'll react if you inform him as the truth of the matter?
It'll likely only worsen his opinion of myself, which is frankly not likely to get much worse than it already is.
Scary, but the Hellhound does a challenge.
A fair observation. In regards to your half brother Alstramaria, I will leave that up to you. If you believe it will placate him, then do so. And otherwise, inform me.
Understood.
See that he does not make himself into a problem, Alstramaria, regardless of his intentions.
I will not allow that to happen.
I know.
And she would also
sorry.
update him on the goings on of the meeting and where people are going. Etney is likewise curious in the same way Connor is, but I don't think she knows.
If Jacob Morrow is in fact a man of his word, then no, she does not.
Well, with that, I suppose I've come in unannounced. I'll probably get out of your hair if you need me to. I'm sure you have things to do.
I very frequently have things to do, Alstramaria. But I already offered that you could use this place as a base of operations, did I not?
Indeed.
But if you are that eager to leave me to my business, then by all means. He grins.
She crosses her arms.
Sarcastic spells.
I'm simply asking if you wanted to get other things done tonight.
And leave you to an inn somewhere, and lead you to an inn somewhere in this dump of a town.
That's not what I meant, but you recall I don't need to sleep.
He
I can go
he almost
skulk
like
about this. I can go skulk about the city if I want to.
he almost like remembers that for a moment, because for a second it actually almost seems like he forgot. Oh yeah, she's got that whole thing going on. He
Oh no, my
he digs through a pocket and he tosses you a key. 'Tis the spare to the door. Provided you need re-entrance if you choose to do so, I will be here.
Well, thank you.
Be sure not to stay out too late now. I'm sure your mother would be quite cross with you.
I don't think you have any right to say that, Bryn.
He smiles. Perhaps not. But when is that stop for? And he turns back away, with a smirk, and he makes his way back to the to the altar where there's a few documents and such. And effectively looks as if he's going to continue doing whatever work he was doing before the before the old lady showed up.
And she's gonna go.
And he watches you go. And yeah, so you head off into the night of Brimrad. I forgot you also don't have to sleep. God, you're gonna have like a lot of time to fucking do this shit. All right. So you're gonna have about 8 days. So I'm gonna effectively. What are you during these days? What exactly are you focusing on as far as what you're doing around here?
Probably just meeting up with other council members, seeing if I can get them on board, and seeing what intelligence I can get about the Black Watch and.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have you make a streetwise check real quick.
I'm gonna intense focus this because I got nothing. What's the difficulty?
It's gonna okay. So the first one is going to be for trying to or this one for the streetwise is going to be for trying to use the contacts that you have to track down the to see what you can do about trying to contact the other Reynards. And with that, this is kind of going to be wrapping up a number of days of work. You're going to go ahead and make a streetwise check. It's going to be against 4 difficulty. That said, because of the assistance that you will be able to get from him, you can use his streetwise skill, which is 4.
Yay!
So you can use his skill instead of yours. And yeah,
I teleport.
Yay!
I'm actually not going to spend I accidentally picked it up and I had to set it back down. So it's going to take about a total of about 5 of the 8 days were spent trying to send missives, have clandestine meetings with some of these individuals. And all that. So over the course of the next week, you start to kind of make these connections. You are also in the process of doing so. You do reconnect with Ermine, who is in the area as well, and is one of the Reynard agents. Obviously, she is one of the individuals who will be helping you. On top of that, you send out a couple of messages and such, and have a couple of meetings, and get lukewarm response. But by the end of the week, you do get a couple more meetings with other individuals, and you got 2 successes, and you're going to get 2 of the others are going to try and see what they can't do about supporting what you're trying to do. Neither of the individuals obviously gave you a name. And many of them met you through proxies, but they informed you that they believe that the Council of Vermin backing the Blood of Legala is the wisest course of action at the time being, and will do what they can about trying to provide more support to them directly. That support will not come immediately, but will be funneled as they can throughout the course of things.
I also want to see if they can find any like Blackwatch activity. That's the name of the organization.
That is what I'm going to have you make your next check for, actually. How are you going about trying to learn more about their activities in this area?
Basically through council intelligence.
Okay.
Because they know the area better than I and can probably sculpt the area better than I can.
That's fair.
So I'm going to mitigate that task to friends.
In that case, I'm going to have you make a leadership check.
Oh boy.
This is going to be against 3 difficulty, but I'm going to upgrade it once because of the inherent danger of looking into this, as they are.
Yeah, and I'm gonna intense focus. I think I just have 1 boost die. Yeah. Yay!
All right. So yeah. So I'm going to let you over the course of the next 3 days. Or actually, yeah. Over the course of the next. So make me 1 more leadership check. This one's going to be against 4 difficulty.
Okay.
Because that's going to take 2 days, and then
updated,
one more day.
upgraded.
Yeah, it's still gonna, it's still gonna have 1 upgrade.
Okay.
And this is just to basically get bonus info. All right. So you won't be able to learn anything else immediately beyond that. But I'm going to let you ask 2 questions about their activity as of recent, and I will answer them.
Okay, did we know what they were doing in the city before?
Yes. Judging from what you're able to talk about, they just recently got to the city, not too long not too long after you did. They are here. As you already know, they are here on behalf of Alexis Blackwild and Ambassador Liao to attempt to coordinate the reinforcements that are coming. To support the loyalist faction.
Mhm.
What you learn is that they are actually here to receive those individuals because they are already on their way, and in fact will arrive shortly. And they
Okay.
are to deliver the payment to those
Okay,
individuals.
so they're going to be meeting them at the docks soon.
They will be meeting them at the docks. But you do not know exactly how long it will. But you do have one more question.
Okay.
Nor who they are, how big they are, or anything else. They're basically the guys who are paying them and are their tour guides that are going to be bringing them back.
Okay, so they're going through Brimred back to Arcanon.
Yes.
How many of them are there?
With those other advantages, I'm also going to give you a little bit of bonus information about this. The organization that was hired, as you do a little bit of digging, and the other guys that you got on your side do a bit of digging. You know from what little information you know about Fanrangu that Fanrangu does not actually have a proper military force. They don't have an army. Individual warriors and like such like that, yes, but they don't have an organized army like Legala or that do. Rather, it's all kind of more privatized. With individual lords having their own smaller forces and armies, and as such, you also get some individuals who kind of gather themselves together into small mercenary companies of sorts, freelancers, mercenaries, bodyguards, blades for hire. The group that that Liao has acquired is a group called the Weiji. The Weiji is a rather large mercenary group, and while the exact numbers are not known to you, last estimates put them somewhere between 750 and 1,000 soldiers. All of them very, very, very well trained. You also know, from the information that you were able to dig up, you also know their symbol, the symbol that they carry on their flag.
Okay, making a note of that, filing it away for later. So essentially, she's hired mercenary companies.
Yes. Fanrangi's mercenary company. This one in particular being the noteworthy one. You also know that their leadership, the only thing that you know of their leadership is that their leader is a swordswoman of peerless skill, judging from the rumors. The rumors, of course, varying greatly in their scope. From her saying that she's bisected, a 12-foot long steel beam with a single slice of her blade. Two, that she's bested 100 or 1,001 warriors single-handedly. Whether any of those are true, obviously, is probably largely fictitious. But one thing is for certain: she's rather potent. That said, nobody knows her name, or at least nobody could remember it because it's a foreign language, and it's not written down anywhere. So you don't have a name, but you do know that she's a swordsman of peerless skill.
She is scary.
Yes. And there are other individuals who are her lieutenants, and other like high leadership individuals of the company, but you do not know anything about them.
Okay. So I don't think the leadership I rolled was high enough to like actually convince people to go patrol the docks.
They'll be able to kind of hopefully keep an eye out, because you were able to convince them. People are going to keep an eye out,
Okay.
but it is not arrived yet, and it will not have arrived by the time you guys, or by the time the rest of the people rendezvous with you. And generally, gathering all of that intel and information is pretty much what your time will be spent on. Obviously, all of the tasks and such that are involved in doing so.
Busy.
Busy. Meanwhile, as Alstro is being a busy bee, back up at Dalhurst, the rest of the Blood of Legala group that is meeting with her has gathered together, and has gotten all of their things together. The 10 of you who are going who are in your little pod here, gathering their things together and getting ready. Is there anything that you guys need to do before you peace out?
Bid my farewells.
And of course, your mother and father and everybody would be there to bid their farewells and such. Piper, of course, giving you a good luck kiss as you go. And Connor, do you really think that General Shieldheart is not going to see you guys off?
I know.
And he will, and he'll bid you good fortune and give you guys a blessing as you prepare to depart. And of course, as you guys gather all of your things, if you want to actually like do anything in particular, please do.
I don't think there's anything we need to do that we haven't already discussed in the Facebook group.
Pretty much. And so as you guys gather together, Westland kind of looks at all of you guys and as you're like gathering your things together and says, I suppose this is the part where we should probably try and don those disguises, yes?
Well, obviously.
And so what's everybody's fucking secret identities here? Because you guys have been hyped about that. So who's all disguising and what are you disguising yourselves as?
I can't do shit.
Yeah, you're just Renzu.
Yeah, you're not allowed to discuss stuff.
Here, I got something.
What are you gonna put some jewelry on like the other side of your body
no.
instead? Switch your
Oh.
bangles up.
Yeah, okay.
And Hiei and Connor, if you guys wanted to have that quick conversation, you could also probably have done that this morning. Yeah, you guys can interact.
Yeah,
What?
I finally get to wear this.
Are you
What?
sure we're allowed
For
to do
stuff.
that?
What?
We've been denied so
Oh
many
my god,
times before, Eric.
fucking talk.
I've been burned too many times.
Oh my
And it is a nice summer day. Like you could straight up just wear.
No shirt.
What? Who's going shirtless?
Yes.
but yeah, if you guys wanted to do the thing, you can.
Sure.
Cannot find picture I used. Life hard.
Also, I need to rewrite the people who are on this mission because I have the old mission roster up. So players, we have Rinzu, Kie, Davey, Alstro. I spelled Alstro with a Z. Weird. Connor. And then you guys have Melody, Nate, Westland, Warren, and Beatrice. Oh yeah, did we name what his
No,
I thought that was Kendra's job
that
Wait,
was
what
Kendra's
was my
job.
job?
to fucking give him a name.
Oh, I thought after we said that it was just going to be Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
I
god
thought
damn
that
it.
was- I thought that was
Alright.
the joke because no one ever told me that I had to name him.
Let's go, Eric.
And did we decide that he was gonna look like Saber?
Are we getting his
I
hair?
don't know what Saber looks like.
We're getting his
The
hair
one
done.
that you preferred.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I didn't know.
Fine.
I don't know.
Which I passed
Saber
the
was talking
sword.
about.
Yeah.
Saber from Echoes.
Yes.
Echoes.
Yes.
Oh, now I care. Look at that.
Yeah, now you remember.
I
Fucking
actually
Christ.
didn't like. I don't know the characters of
I
Echoes.
swear, I was gonna just use Tobin.
Of course you would.
No.
Well, you don't-
get-
Yeah, you don't need a
No.
disguise.
So does Westland shave the side of his head?
No, I think it's just through illusion magic.
Lame.
Womp.
Fine with this.
Why is he lame?
He doesn't want to shave his hair.
Don't shave his head.
That's called commitment, damn it.
I think he might like temporarily dye it though. Like,
There you go. We'll just die.
and he probably won't have like the side shave, and he'll just dye the hair.
Alright.
Like he's been prepping for this. He's got the goatee ready.
Oh my
Like
Jesus
God.
Christ.
because he can't do illusion magic, so it would be beneficial for him to be able to actually just do that. Beatrice has decided that she wants to go by fuck. What name should she
Oh,
have?
she's coming.
I think
He's
so.
coming.
Yeah.
Alright.
She's gonna take the most generic name in Legala, Ashley.
I was about to say, is it Ashley?
It's absolutely Ashley.
Basic ass Ashley.
And I think she's also like she's using she's just kind of using magic to kind of make her skin look a little bit more tan because she's a pasty bitch, and probably make her hair kind of actually I think she's gonna make her hair look exactly the same color as Westland, and is gonna be like, yeah, I'm your sister. That's our cover.
Wow.
And
Oh my god.
so she's Ashley, and she's got like kind of orangish red hair. So, I think that's the only NPCs that need to
Disguise,
disguise themselves. Yeah. And now everyone has fucking red hair
yeah.
because Warren
Yes.
is also there. He made it look better first.
Alright.
Excuse you.
I mean, whatever he has to tell himself, I guess.
And he probably actually helped Westland dye his hair because he would probably know how to do that pretty well.
You guys hear me
Uh,
okay?
Now I can.
Okay.
Alright, sorry, my Discord just fucking exploded.
Boom.
Yay!
And yeah, so everybody kind of gathers their stuff together. Melody kind of laughing at the antics quietly to herself as she packs her stuff. Nate of course goading everyone on. Warren is obviously using this opportunity to make sure that Westland knows how to act like a to act like a common person, which is probably hilarious. And Amara is just scowling at Westland from across the group. But yeah. So as you guys kind of get all your stuff together, yeah, you can, now that your Discord's not exploding, you can do the thing.
Which thing?
If you wanted to talk to Connor. So I imagine Hiei probably shows up once everything's kind of gathered, and Connor probably already looks not like Connor, which will be extra funny. Because look, Connor and Hiei aren't meeting. It's Hiei and Henry.
God damn.
Are you doing this?
Is your thing still messing up?
Hello?
Hello?
There
I heard you
are.
there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Discord, can you not?
Hey, Mark.
Yeah,
Can you fucking be here already?
I'm here. I'm
All
sorry.
right.
I wasn't entirely sure what exactly it was you wanted to talk about, though, because,
Oh
like,
yeah. No, I just really honestly wanted our characters to fucking meet.
That's fair. Yeah, I think he is the one person that's not met most of these people, so you probably would be able to introduce yourself.
But yeah, as far as things, Scarf is pulled up, and his signature ponytail is gone, and his hair is about shoulder length around his collarbone.
Oh shit.
Since we're going all incognitus and shit.
Chapter haircut.
All right, Connor is gonna walk straight up to Hiei.
Have you practiced the illusion beforehand of whoever this Henry person is?
Probably not, but you know, illusions are things that like I've been doing all campaign, so I'm not too like thrown off by it.
As this mysterious person approaches he sort of looks up from examining his gear, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be. He stands up and gives a polite bow. Good morning.
Good morning. You must be Hiei, correct?
Yes?
Good. I have heard about you and have never seen you before. Somehow.
It's usually what people hear about me about. I'm sorry. They have me at a bit of a disadvantage.
He looks up at like fringe of hair, like, oh right, and like there's like a like you know how Loki like puts on like his like special horn helmet bullshit like uniform stuff, like how it just kind of like shimmers across him. That's basically what happens. And the day before he was actually Connor.
As the visage dissolves, there's a sort of like a quizzical look on Hiei's face for just a moment before like it clicks, in which the formal bow is then repeated as a 90-degree bow.
Oh,
My apologies, Connor. I was told that there would be illusion magics here, and I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry. Good morning.
Right. No need for bowing.
And he sort of rights himself and scratches the back of his head. Well, I suppose since we're going to be working together, formalities are a big thing back home. It's just sort of it's the way I do things. I'm sorry, and he gives another polite bow.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I must admit I don't know much about the Ferengis culture.
That's unfortunately to be expected. Things don't really get out very much. Although I do have to admit, I've heard quite a bit about myself anyways. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. And he extends a hand.
Connor will take said hand, and what have you heard, actually?
A bit of this, a bit of that, mostly from Delphine, to be entirely honest. Mostly good things.
Yes, I can only imagine what Delphine would have told you.
From what I can understand of her, she's very energetic, and her words tend to sort of go in one ear and right out the other. But from what I understand, you've been doing a lot of good here, and that's very commendable.
I've been trying, at least.
And succeeding, from what I'm seeing.
We'll see how successful it is ultimately.
Hie's face fades from a smile to a bit more of a serious scowl. I also wanted to formally apologize. I understand you've been inconvenienced by one of my countrymen, Miss Liao Jing. He sort of says with a bit of venom on his tongue.
Is that not her real name, then?
It's the name she goes by. Whether it is her true name or not, I honestly couldn't care less. However, she, as a Dusk Maiden, has been abusing her power, and it's unforgivable.
I must admit, I've heard very little of Fenrik's magic. I wasn't sure if your countrymen actually used it.
Generally, we don't. Those of the Court of Night are the only ones who are any kind of practitioners of the bending of spiritual energies. Usually it's only in the name of research and bettering of the nation. But to see that she's bastardized this sacred art outside of our country even is quite honestly unthinkable until just recently.
Carnots, and so you wouldn't be able to tell me more about your countrymen's magic then?
As much as I would love to enlighten you, I'm a bit ignorant, if you will. All of my experiences with magic up until our meeting today have been not exactly the most pleasant. He sort of rubs his shoulder where the beam almost impacted him back in Soteria. It's... No, for lack of a better word.
You've mostly seen it used in war, then, I assume.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think anything else can be abused.
Truer words, I suppose. Although I would really hope it would not have to come to that. I understand there's a bit of our ancient artifacts in play as well. The loom, from what Rinzu's told me, has been acquired by this Xing and holed up in, what was his name, Blackwild, his estate?
Right on both counts.
I understand this artifact has been a point of contention between her forces, I would say ours, but she's currently acting outside of the nation and of your own. I would have that removed. Not destroyed, but retrieved, if at all possible.
Alstro, Marriott, and myself have actually briefly spoken about the loom, and that's partly why I want to talk to you right now.
Oh?
I wish to be able to use it to reverse what she's done.
Interesting. I'm assuming you have a plan in place already,
I
or
would.
a theory at the very least.
I have several theories. I am a practitioner, fairly skilled actually, of the same branch of magic that she uses, albeit the Legolan version of it, rather than whichever Faeries magic they use. But it's of a very similar variety.
Well, if magic is anything like blades, I'm sure one sect is similar enough to be used by any practitioner. I look forward to seeing your prowess. And he gives another bow.
Yes, well, I look forward to seeing you disappear in front of my very eyes, from what people say.
um, he scratches the back of his head again. Yeah, that does happen sometimes. My apologies.
Connor just kind of shrugs, and if you're good at something,
Might as well utilize it.
I'm not sold on the red. Beatrice says to Weston, like mounted up on the horses nearby, and she's like, maybe I should do black. And she kind of like puts her fist on like her cheek, and her hair like shifts to black, and she's like, and she just like keeps snapping her fingers, and like it keeps cycling through different colors as she's like looking at a strand of it, and she just like looks up and is like, what do you think? To Weston, I don't know. Beatrice, Ashley, right, Ash. And she smiles, and she kind of keeps cycling through those.
hey B,
She raises her hands and is like, "What did I just say?" And gestures to Westland. It's Ashley now. Gosh.
not until you choose a hair color.
And she just like. She raises her hands, snaps both of them, and her hair just turns into like a mishmash of like 5 different colors. And then she, of course, goes back to the red that she was going with before. But she definitely does that, and with a smirk as she does. And out of the corner of your eye, Connor, Warren walks up to Nate, and he so you must be Nathaniel Donner, yes? The second in command of the Mercer Brigade. And Nate kind of looks over, like checking his horse, and he like raises an eyebrow and he says, "Yeah? What's it to you?" And Warren just shrugs and he says, "It's just a pleasure to meet you. I've heard all about you, you see." And he offers a hand, and Nate kind of squints and takes his hand kind of cautiously and is like, "Uh-huh. Good things, I wager." And Warren nods. More or less, yes. And he smiles and he says, "I'm very much looking forward to working alongside you, Nate. I think the two of us will be good friends. You can call me Warren." And hang on. And Nate nods and he says, "Then I'll call you Warren then. It's a pleasure to meet you." And Warren says, "The pleasure's all mine." And he turns and he actually looks to you too, Davey, and he says, "I'm looking forward to working with you as well. I've heard plenty about you as well."
Did you now?
Oh, just a couple of things. You can blame Alstro for that.
His eyes narrow at that. Right.
Is it the same thing I heard?
Perhaps, yes. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the things that we knew were shared. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll learn plenty of embarrassing stories about me from her before long.
Uh-huh. Right. Well, if we're done playing around, we should probably get ready.
Fair enough. Let's just get something straight, Davian. He says, like with an obvious smile as he mounts up on his Pegasus. There can only be one, and that's all he says.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And he laughs, and he rides off, clearly amused at his own joke. And Nate just looks at him and looks at you, Davian, and just shrugs, and he's like, "Sheesh."
Tell me about it.
They get all sorts of characters in that rebellion of hers.
That they do. Well, Nate, try to keep up.
Yeah, and try not to fall off your horse again.
Excuse you. And he slaps Nate's horse.
And which his horse then rides off, and then he pushes you down and jumps up on your horse and rides off with it.
That's
And just laughs.
amazing.
Try and keep up, Commander, as he rides
Son
off.
of a bitch.
And I think Warren is also laughing as he's already kind of taken off a little bit. And as you guys are kind of gearing up, Melody will sidle up on her horse, and she
Well, we haven't quite left yet, but would you prefer I take a Pegasus or a regular horse?
Well, if we're gonna be as average as we can be, I say horse.
Okay. And Connor's gonna wave his hand towards Moonheart, and the wings are gonna disappear.
boom.
Oh, magic.
Huh.
I know.
Wow. That's a rather handy trick, Westland says.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to teach anyone.
Yeah, she'd probably beat you up if you did.
I would deserve it.
Well, shall we?
It works out. What Warren just can have the cover of "I Stole It." Whatever. But yeah. So you guys set off, bidding your farewells to the individuals that come. It's probably a small group. Dave and your family. John definitely is there. Etney
John.
probably also there to bid farewell, especially to you and Warren. And
Please don't die, Cecil.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. The two of them are probably off at a battlefield right now, so the two of them probably aren't there. You guys get your goodbyes. Cecil gives you a goodbye. As those who are not off on in battle. So the group's probably smaller than it would be because actually Shieldheart probably had to leave a day or two before, so probably him and Anna had to roll out. Which probably means that the command was probably passed on to Thaddeus, the command of the defense of the camp. So
Right.
and so yeah, so you guys ride off to the south, and Westland, as you guys are riding, Westland says, it should be about 2 weeks to get to Brimrad, yes? And Warren laughs and says, "Ha! Clearly you don't understand exactly who you're riding with, Wessie boy. We'll get there in 5. We'll get there in 4. Worst case, 5." And he looks over at you, Rinzu, over on B's horse, and say, "Did he just call me Wessie boy?"
I think Rinzu's actually too focused on holding on to B because I'm going to die.
And she smiles and says, "I call you that all the time." You do? I mean, never to your face. And she like cackles. Her signature snort, sneaking its way into it as you guys go. Wesley boy. Amara seems to be handling horse wrangling better than she probably would have otherwise. She definitely has never really ridden a horse before in her life until right now. But she's taking it pretty all right. Let's see exactly how well.
Fake it till you make it.
Oh, never mind. She's not doing very well at all.
She
At
did
least
as good as I did.
At least once when she was dismounting, her foot probably got caught in the stirrup, and she almost fell, and she probably cut the stirrup with a knife, and that was not what you should have done. But it's okay, you guys have some spares. Westlin is probably like, "Oh my goodness, where did you find this one?" Shove off! And he's like, "All right, we're going to start with the basics. Who else doesn't know how to ride around here?"
I'm just going to subtly point right at Rinzu.
Of course.
A hand peeks up behind Davian.
You're all hopeless. How do you get anywhere?
I think they walk.
Wow.
I mean, Rinzu can run on all fours, so.
Yes, I guess that's fair, but all right. Riding 101, and he's basically gonna run you guys through the steps on how to control a goddamn horse, because he is not going to let all of you turn into a bunch of Alstromarias.
What?
Don't
Wow.
ask. Just don't ask.
That bad?
I'm keeping that. Yeah.
And
She had 7 years of riding lessons. How can she be that bad?
he might share the story about how she once rode a steed so hard that it nearly died.
Wait.
It was all they could do
no.
to bring it back, but it was not in good shape by the time she was done.
Wow. That's
Actually, he is probably halfway decent at riding.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, yeah.
higher agility than I do, so.
He will absolutely drag Alstro through the mud as far as that's concerned. Because if there's one thing he's passionate about, it's horses, and she fucked that horse up. That was not cool.
I need ammunition.
And he'll probably also brag about. Oh yeah, he knows a lot of stories about you.
Good.
By the way, he might share
About
some of
me,
them.
or-
No, he knows stories about you that he heard from Alstro, but he knows stories about Alstro that none of you know. Which is hilarious. He'll share a couple of them, but he not all of them.
Oh, fair enough.
And he'll also, of course, share stories about how he tried to ride a great yak once. Don't ride a great yak when you're drunk, kids.
Thought this just.
I don't even know what that is.
Anything while you're drunk.
And he'll of course describe it. Massive fuzzy-haired creatures. Horn as big as your thigh, and temperaments as short as your pinky. They'll gore you in the gut if you're not careful. Trust me, I know.
Funny.
Seems like approaching that, even unintoxicated, would be death sentence.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know what the Ptolemites think when they actually put saddles on them and ride them into war. If rumors are right, you might very well see one in action before this war is over. I guess we'll see.
I think I'd rather not.
Well, lesson number one about Great Yaks is they don't give a fuck about what you think. And yeah, the 4 days of your travel as you guys quickly make your way down are luckily uneventful. You pass by a number of farmsteads that have been mostly untouched from the war. They avoid you for the most part. But yeah, the if there's any interactions that you guys specifically want to do on the way, this also could be a good time for that.
You know, Davian,
Yes, Henry.
I hear all these stories about how there are bandits everywhere, and I've never seen one.
Well, you must be very fortunate.
No, it gets kind of boring at times.
It's best this way. I'd rather we not have complications.
And Westland rides back around, and he's like, I mean, if you want, I can go make some ruckus and see if we can't get some action. But Alstro is waiting for us, and there's no
Yeah,
telling
but
when any
I'm
of this is
not-
going to happen. And he gestures over to a tree trunk, and as he rides closer to it, there's a very small skull, an iron skull that's been hammered into the side of it. That right there, turf marking.
Yep.
If we're not careful, if we lingered around here too long, or if I didn't know what I was doing, we would be running into bandits. Don't you worry.
So what you're saying is, thank you, Warren, for your remarkable talents.
Gee, no problem. Or sorry,
He's
Warren, not Westland.
inflate his ego.
Not a problem. Not a problem, Davian. Anything I can do for the cause of the blood of Legala. He like clasps his hands together, like still on his Pegasus. Nate kind of rides up and quietly says to you, Davian, "Sheesh, this guy sure likes hearing himself talk, doesn't it?"
That he does, but he has a point. He's rather skilled in this.
And Warren looks back and like actually like makes eye contact with you for a second and smirks and walks away, or rather rides off. He definitely heard
And
that.
with that, he heard you, Nate.
How the? I was whispering.
He has his talents, we have ours. And, well, subtle isn't our best.
And Nate just kind of sighs and he'll probably like at some point he'll probably like ask Connor like, what's the deal with that guy?
Do you want the long of it or the short of it?
He shrugs. I guess I don't know. What do I want? Seems to be pretty familiar with you, but ain't really my spot to pry nothing.
We have a history, yeah.
Huh.
And I'm sure he's listening to this right now.
Man, it always freaks me out. How the hell do people hear everything like that? Cass was always like that too. Ugh, it pissed me off.
It's a gift.
Huh, I didn't think you could sneak like that while still on a horse. I'm actually kind of impressed.
Ah, sheesh. You ain't gonna start doing that too, are ya? And he says, like, looking over to Amara, and she just smirks.
What makes you think she hasn't started?
Me mum taught me well, she did. At least, for at least for as shortly as she deemed necessary to be a part of my bloody life.
Oof.
And Nate just rubs the back of his neck and is like, maybe I just shouldn't say anything to anyone.
Where's the fun in that?
I don't know, not having everyone eavesdropping all the time.
Nate, why don't you just say things to fuck with them then?
There's he opens his mouth as if to respond, and then is like, huh. Fair warning, this probably ain't gonna work. And he'll kind of ride off thinking on that a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of interested in what he comes up with.
Goddamn.
By the end of the trip, he's probably trying to do that, but it's just not working. And I imagine as he tries to bait Warren into his own game, Warren just smiles. He probably just rides up and pats him on the shoulder, and he just, you're trying, and that's the important part.
Ooh, I felt that one.
And Nate just scowls and he says, and as he rides off, he's just, why don't you come back here and say that again, punk? And he rides off after him, and Warren just laughs.
Nate, you can't win that race. He can fly.
Jeez. Get him on the ground, and if I get him on the ground, I'll tell you, I'll show him a contest that he can't win. Ugh. Pisses me off. And Beatrice just rides up and she says, I think that means that he likes you. Judging from the way that he acts, that's probably a good sign.
This is such a long trip.
And as you guys are going, by the way, Nate is trying. Nate is definitely trying, and Warren is absolutely goading him on the entire trip. And you can tell that Warren is Warren is doing this mostly good-natured. He's having fun with this. Nate is really fun to tease, as he's learned.
He's so expressive.
He is. He's very expressive. At least one time, when Warren was starting a fire, and Nate was just at some point he just looked at him and is like, "You can go start chopping lumber, right? What? Just because I have an axe and have muscles, I gotta be the one to chop the lumber?" And Warren just looks at him and just yeah. And he just grumbles and goes and in fact does start chopping the lumber for a fire. And yeah.
He's very good at that, yeah.
It's pretty comical. And Nate is very frustrated. and will probably complain to you at length about it.
Boy.
So
I'm assuming you isn't Davian, right?
yes, but we'll probably also at times just look at you, Connor, and just be like, "This is your friend. This is your friend."
God.
I mean, I've also teased him, but just not to the same degree.
That's fair. That said, on the converse, Beatrice, aka Ashley, is loving Warren. she thinks he's hilarious and is enjoying this a lot. And Westland has been basically don't encourage it like the whole time, like trying to get everybody to be nice. It's pretty endearing, but B is absolutely just eating this up. But Amara, throughout the course of the trip, Amara is kind of basically doing everything that Westland is not doing. Like, as soon as he starts trying to stop, like trying to like get people to like chill out, she'll just step in and start goading. Like at every opportunity that they're doing. At one point when he was setting up his tent, she straight up just trips over it, quote unquote, on accident.
So petty.
Whoops.
There could be 2 days of this before Davian.
Yes,
That needs resolved.
of course. Amara,
Oh no, I was gonna fucking do something about that because fuck.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys both went up to her at the same time, whether planned or otherwise.
oh no, after you.
So she's like carving a rabbit that she caught or something for everybody to eat when you go up to her.
Oh, how nice. Amara, we need to talk.
Well, you already talking? What do you need to talk about?
What?
And Rinzu, you're there too, right?
Yes.
Your behavior around Westland.
She shrugs. Fuck him.
I get that, but you're gonna have to cooperate with him and work with him. I get that you don't like him, but I think you need to cool it a bit, especially on a mission.
We ain't on a mission right now, Commander. Don't see why I have to be nice to the bloody arsehole.
You don't have to be nice to him. You just need to stop picking on him.
And make a leadership check real quick, Davian.
All right. Intense focus, command,
It'd
difficulty.
be 3 with 1 setback. Actually, 2 setback. She shrugs and says, "Sure thing, Commander."
She lying to me?
She kind of just leans back and just takes a bite of the roasted rabbit.
I'm going to fucking smack her.
Wait, like for real?
Yes.
You little bitch. The hell was that for?
You know damn well what that was for.
I ain't doing shite. I know folk will act like him. He pretends just being a wee little boy scout now makes up for all the bad shit he did, all the bad shit he's probably gonna do. You can't just expect me to just turn over and forgive him for everything he did to you.
You don't even know him.
I know him enough.
Apparently not.
Look, Red. I don't know what he did to you. Outside all this. I'm just saying, I know folk like him. He ain't gonna get better. Not just overnight like that. Broken bloody legs and a missing eye or not.
You know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
I wouldn't. You'd probably be back home up somewhere in that valley down there somewhere, eh?
That's not what I meant.
Don't make it any less truth. Folk like him are like a bloody cancer. Yeah, so it's only a matter of time before he breaks your heart again. Be a lot smarter if you drop him like like something hot that he shouldn't be holding. I don't fucking can't think of anything right now. So no, Commander, I ain't gonna let it compromise the mission. I promise you that. I ain't a damn fool. But I ain't gonna let him get off scot-free just because you decided to forgive him. Not after what I know he did.
Prince is actually going to leave. And there's going to be some swearing in Fangronese. Like, there's going to be some Fangronese. Like, I need to leave now or I'm going to, like...
You'll find me later, Red. I'm telling you.
Great.
I might be throwing a fucking knife into a tree.
Sorry,
I'm not
Oh,
going to
God.
lie.
Lovely. Look,
Commander. It's just
I get it, Mara. But just give him a chance.
not everyone deserves a second chance, you know. Not if you ask me.
I thought that way too, but things change.
I may have.
We've already warned him what happens if he does something like that again. He's already made it clear he doesn't intend on making the same mistake. And lately, he's been showing that he clearly wants to make up for his mistakes.
That's how it always starts, Commander.
It's not about what ifs, Amara. For now, we give him that chance. And if you're that annoyed by the boy, then, well, just keep your distance from him. I really don't want to assign a melody with you to make sure you're not tripping over his tent.
Look, Commander. I know you've had your life full of all sorts of problems and whatnot. And I'm sure it's been real hard, but you ain't seen what alcohol does to someone like that. You ain't seen the kind of people like him. You ain't seen what they do. They hurt you. Then they come back and they apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again, I promise. Give it a year, maybe 2 if she's lucky. She kind of just puts her hands up but what do I know? You'd rather trust a haughty noble mage over me. I don't blame you.
Excuse me? What, you don't think I trust you?
Not on this one, at least. Ain't
Yeah,
no one
not
trusts
on
me on
this
this
one.
one.
No way.
Right.
She just meets your gaze. She offers the smoked rabbit to you. Hungry?
Yeah, I am, actually.
She hands it to you. Good, because I think I lost my appetite. And she's going to stand up and walk away.
Just takes a bite out of it.
That's a
What a day.
And yeah, the next day, as the night turns into day, how are you doing, Renzu?
I'm so mad. There's a really fucked up tree somewhere.
I think Westland will probably go and make sure you're doing okay. You know, I don't believe the tree would be getting up again if it were an individual. Is everything all right, Renzu? Well, clearly not. What's wrong? Sorry, that was a stupid question.
I'm pretty sure he could hear it being like, that bitch, she won't understand, like, all in Vagranese.
Who are you talking about?
Mara.
Ah. It's hard to believe that she and I are related. She really hates me. I suppose I can't truly blame her.
Kinda gonna look away. Sorry about that.
Rinzi, you don't have to do this for me. It's fine. I barely deserve your forgiveness, let alone hers. She likely came from a life of struggle and strife. And by all rights, I represent exactly what she never had. I guess there's not much I could do to bridge that gap, really. But I'm not going to let that deter me. It might take forever, but maybe someday she'll be able to look at me without sneering or throwing food at me or rocks or stashing knives in my laundry or giving me food that's not cooked all the way through or, well, you get the idea.
Making her more mad. Just
Sorry, this isn't really helping.
she won't respect my decision.
Hmm. I would offer to talk to her again, but I don't think it would get very far.
I just She just thinks that you're going to hurt me again. People like that don't change.
I don't believe that anyone is truly beyond change. Truly, I don't believe anything is. That's why I believe in what we're doing. I mean, just look at everyone. It's been less than it was less than 2 weeks when we had left, and already we had started to see change. The other students and all the other individuals, the people weren't afraid to be who they weren't afraid to stand up for what they wanted to fight for. But I know that not everybody believes that. And he'll close the gap with you, and he'll take your hand.
Oh. All right.
I know that
Yeah.
what she feels is justified as what you feel, I believe, but I suppose I'll just have to prove her wrong. It might take the rest of my life, but I won't let myself hurt you again.
Just going to smile. I know.
Honest, I would sooner stop myself permanently than do that. I won't let what she thinks come to pass. Maybe I'll be able to show her that someday, but if not, you believe me, and that's what's important. I hope that someday she can come to respect your decision. And maybe she can see me that maybe she'll be able to see me as as unmonstrous as you do. But until then, try not to let it get to you. I know that's rather difficult, but Legala is a much better place when you smile.
I'm saying that just like starting to blush. Like she.
And he'll pull you into an embrace. We'll just have to keep changing minds,
That
one at a
will.
time. With that, he'll give you a kiss.
Oh,
And the night turns to day, and the day turns to night. The last day that you guys would be traveling, on the 5th day, when Westland, or rather Warren, oh my god, W's.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Damn it, Eric.
Warren, the navigator one. And they both have red hair now. Ugh, this is awful.
You did it to yourself.
I know.
You did do that to
It
yourself.
was your fault.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Eric and Warren. Warren rounds about and explains that they'll be that by the end of the day, you guys by evening you guys should be able to make your way to Brimrad.
Well, I hope you all have memorized the names.
What remember I seen names of?
Henry.
Oh, your names. And 1 second.
Real quick, could everybody give me their names? Because I don't remember.
You got Henry, Ashley, and Eric.
Henry, Ashley, and Eric. Sorry, 1 second.
All I can say is I did not fraternize.
Okay, good.
You were smooched.
I was smooched.
It's okay. It was
I
dark.
was not the smoocher.
It was
It was dark. It's fine. And I imagine like when you guys came back, Beatrice was just tapping her foot on the ground. Is like, "Excuse you." And then like you guys probably like backed up like the requisite like 3 feet of distance and looked bashful.
What you're talking about?
Nice.
And she just comes up and like pushes between both of you guys and links her arms with you and is just like, "Save room for Ashling," and she just waltzes back to the camp with you guys.
Oh my god.
I hope the save room for Ashling is the like fucking like oh god, what's the word?
Shitpost.
Oh, like the thing that you tell kids at like school dances? Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
The
Absolutely.
like phrase.
Absolutely.
God.
Well, I mean, you definitely aren't going to save room for any of the other 4 gods because they all
Right.
fucked.
Yeah.
She was the fifth
Oh
wheel.
man, you
She
got
was
me
the fifth
far.
wheel. Yeah, she was the ultimate fifth wheel. It's true.
And
Ashling
then
was the
she
ultimate fifth
accidentally
wheel.
killed her sisters.
Yay! Accidentally.
They didn't save room for Ashling, and then they died.
I know, right? God. Didn't save room for Ashling, and then they died.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I'd rather not die.
Then save room for Ashling.
Um,
Also, don't have an antecedent child as a human. Dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Danger.
we'll
and-
be right back. Our Chinese food just came here.
Oh.
In that case, actually, let's go ahead and just take it. We'll take our 10-minute break right now. Actually, since you guys got your thing,
Alright.
and this is a good stopping point because the next thing is going to the next couple of scenes are going to happen right here.
On behalf of the Blood of the God, here have some medicine that is non-loyalist.
Is it GMO free?
Stick the
Yes.
fucking drink.
Made from the finest Zodian plants that are found in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yup.
Can't tell them this from foreigners. Come on.
By the
I don't know, man. That imported shit always gets me fucked up.
It always gets me fucked
Look
up,
what you
man.
did,
You know what
Alstro.
fucks you up? The plague. Now take your
You're right.
goddamn medicine, bitch.
Hey,
You just can't call people bitch, Alstro.
You can't just fucking say
Or
that.
blep,
you can't just call people. bitch.
blep.
I'm blep. I do what as I please.
That's true. All right, I believe everybody's back, so let's get back into it. So we're on the 5th day of travel. It's
Or
a-
are we there yet?
I swear, if you ask me that one more time, I'll answer you and say no. We have a little bit more time left. We should get there before sun. And as he turns back, he stops for a second. He kind of narrows his eyes at a clearing. The area around here is a lot of kind of rolling hills with like patches of forest and trees and such. And one of the patches of he stops for a second. He gets off and he dips down and he says, kind of taking some of the dirt between his fingers and rubbing it. He turns back and he says, "Blood. It's fresh. There's tracks that lead off into the direction towards that grove."
Gonna look at our commander.
Human blood? Or
He nods.
lovely. Let's see.
kill.
Doesn't hurt. How long? How many days has it been since we traveled?
You're on day 5.
We're on day 5.
Everybody stay here. I'll check it out.
I was in this. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna-
Warren and Amara.
And they'll nod, and yeah, as you guys kind of head up, can you make a stealth check for me real quick, Hiei?
I sure fucking can.
It's going to be against. It's not going to be a hard one. It's going to be against 2 difficulty. Yep, just 2.
Huh.
Well, that's funny.
What does
Yeah.
that mean?
You tried to hide in a bush, didn't you?
There are bushes
mean-
around. It's true.
It was going towards a bush.
And so as you make your way through, the 3 of you guys kind of quietly take to the shadows, and of the early morning. As you guys kind of creep in, you hear a couple of voices say, "Don't move it! Don't move! If you move anymore, it's good. Look, it's already practically bursting through the skin. Look, Morrison, we're going to get you help. We're going to get out of here, but you need to stay put." "I'm sorry, Sarge. It hurts a lot. It's really hard not to." And a third voice chimes in and says, "I'm going to need you to stay put. We're in the midst of enemy territory. If you're too loud, they might find us. If they do, then none of us are getting out. So, hush." And as you kind of peek your way through, you see 3 soldiers. The first one that you had heard speaking, the one who appears to be injured, is a young boy, no older than 8. Clutching his leg, his femur, or not his femur, his one of his shin bones is splintered and has punctured through the outside of the front of his skin. It is very poorly wrapped, and he is pale from blood loss. The first person who spoke, the sergeant, judging from her uniform, appears to be a straight talking woman with short brown hair, or with long brown hair, kind of tied back in a bun. Her helmet since discarded as she tries to do first aid on him. And the third one is a big old guy, bald, heavy shield. All of them look weary and battered.
Soldiers. One of them appears to be badly wounded.
And they nod, and at that the sergeant, her eyes peek up, and she draws a sword. Dirt and grime and blood still kind of on it and her uniform and her, and she looks in your direction, not seemingly seeing anything. "Who's there?" The other man makes his way to his feet clumsily, and he grabs the lance sitting by his side.
We mean no harm. We have a healer. We can help your friend.
Oh wait.
As you Warren kind of reaches his hand out towards you as you say that. Do you stand up too and reveal yourself?
No. Engaging their reactions.
Why should we trust you?
You shouldn't. But your friend doesn't look like he has much time left.
And you see through the shrubs, you see her look at the. Amara is going to dip back and is going to head back to you guys and inform you. And the sergeant and the large knight look at each other for a second, and they he nods, and she sighs, and she'll sheath the sword and raise her arms. We surrender. Please, you have to help him.
I turned to Warren came with me, right?
Yeah, Warren came with you, and Warren looks like Warren. You see him kind of shake his head, and he'll dip out of the trees to as you guys go. Amara makes her way back, and there's some loyalist soldiers in the clearing ahead, wounded.
Ashley, you can heal, right?
She nods and says, "I can try. I'm nowhere near as good as Alstramaria or
You just
or,
need to buy him enough time to get to Alstrom.
Right.
With me. And I'm gonna head over there.
And she'll look to you as well, Connor, and or Henry, and I might need your help on this one.
He just nods and goes with her.
I'll actually go too since I worked at the hospital.
Oh fuck, that's true. Yeah. And so as you guys go in, the three of them look, and they seem to be cautious, but they've thrown their weapons down and have surrendered.
I would have since collected them.
Yeah. And Connor, I'm gonna have you make a healing magic check.
Oh, am I the one doing this?
Yes, because you're a PC, so you do it. You can get a. Yeah, actually, you're better off than she is. So you're gonna have a boost dice from Beatrice helping, or actually, just add an extra ability dice from her being able to use a buff spell, an augment spell. So you get an extra green. It's gonna be against one base. I think it's 4 difficulty to heal a critical injury on an incapacitated person.
Guys.
Oh, okay. So easy. Cavemen could do it.
Oh my god.
Well, I
can
mean, it is a compound fracture.
I would
Yeah.
like to use a light side, and then I'm using my ability to take that dark side back.
Okay, yeah, totally, yeah. So upgrade. You can upgrade it once as well. You'll back.
All right. Can anyone else do anything else? I don't think so.
Can Rinta give him a boost dice since she's
Hospital shit.
assisting?
You will for the medicine check that's going to follow.
Okay.
Because this is the magic part that's harder, but it's going to be both. Yeah,
Okay.
magic alone will not mend the wound.
Weird.
What? Magic doesn't
Alright.
solve
Well,
everything?
it probably will.
No, it does. I can solve most of my problems using magic.
Okay.
How dare you take this from me?
There you go.
Nice.
Good
So as the two of you guys kind of kneel down and you kind of work together, she concentrates and she kind of adds her magic to you, and you feel as she kind of combines it together, you guys both reach your hands out, and you see the wound start to mend ever so slightly. The leg is obviously not going to reset, but the flesh, as you kind of set it, he makes a blood curdling screech as you kind of like are able to magically press it back into place, and the skin that it burst through is slowly fixed as you feel it starting to kind of knit together. The bone itself is still broken, but you've basically downgraded it to a regular fracture, which is much better because infection could be really, really, really bad otherwise.
Yeah.
And now, I'm gonna have you make a medicine check, Connor. You can use Beatrice's medicine skill. She has 2 ranks in it. And you can also add 2 boost dice from Sue. This one is going to be against 3 difficulty. As it's been,
I still have the augment, right?
yes. Nice. Whew. And as you turn and you gesture to some of the others to gather some wood for you to kind of craft or rather actually Beatrice will probably, because she's the one with knowledge. She turns and she looks to Warren and Nate and says, "I need the 2 of you to find some wood. Anything long and straight and sturdy that we can make a splint from." They nod, and she'll kind of tear a little bit of her cloak to try and help you as you guys as you guys kind of hitch together a makeshift solution here. And as you heal them, the other 2 look on like terrified, and they Davian, you're like wearing Do you guys have the insignia of your mercenary brigade?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
So
Or
I don't
actually, they've-
suppose he just tripped.
The sergeant in command shakes her head. We were cut off from the rest of our unit. It was a small skirmish with, and her eyes kind of fade and look down to the badge, and she kind of trails off.
Right.
I think it's obvious that, well,
Seems that way.
you're from the Mercer Brigade, aren't you?
Commander. David,
Then
he offers a hand.
she'll nod and she'll take it. I suppose that makes us your prisoners. But thank you for saving Morrison. His family and mine have been rather close. I was close friends with his father.
There's really no thanks needed. It's just common decency. We're not animals. Though you're right. We can't have you expose that we're here. I'm sure you understand that.
She nods. And I understand that word to the Elsewise would be impossible to confirm.
Of course. Well, let's help your friend get up.
And they'll help him up. The big guy especially is pretty good at helping him get to his feet. And Warren kind of crosses his arms and says, "So, what's the plan? Taking him to the prison at Brimrad?"
Well, there's somewhere in Brimrad we can take them, right?
Oh, certainly. The city is under the control of the Blood of Legala.
It seems like we just have to make a detour then.
Yes, I suppose, though bringing them with us is going to slow us down.
Well, that's what you're here, right?
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be the best at this?
You did brag about it.
He kind of this as two of you without the sad face, just the there we go.
Smirk.
He kind of just straight faces you guys. Yes, that's why we'll get there faster than we could normally be able to, but it will slow us down. That's all I'm trying to say.
My apologies. I didn't mean to cause any ruckus or anything. I just used bleeding.
No.
It's understandable.
Just
No,
because
you
we're
said we'd make it there by tonight anyway, right?
Yes, and if we're lucky, we still will. Though it might be after dark by the time we get there. We'll be losing some precious time.
we'll make up for it.
We could definitely make up for it.
Fair enough. And yeah, so they'll come quietly. They're not about to try and fight. They are not in a position to do so. Plus, you obviously have commandeered their weapon.
Speaking of, what do they have on them,
Uh,
weapons-wise?
Nothing crazy. It's just a lance and two regular swords with shields. Yeah, they seem to be regular soldiers. The sergeant does have two vulneraries, which she had a third one that she was attempting to use to try and help him, but it didn't work. And she offers those to you guys, obviously, because
I don't really want to take those personally.
I
Hang on to them. You might need them.
she nods and says, "Fair enough." Thank you. Appreciate it. If I had anything else, I would give it to you, but
Well,
beyond beyond a memento for my husband and my engagement, I have little else to give you.
I mean, I'm sure there's something. But we can discuss this another time. Unless we actually have time.
I mean, you have like the rest of the day basically
Oh.
to travel.
Well.
Because this was pretty early, like shortly after you broke camp. The skirmish
Okay.
happened last night. So
How did you
Oh.
manage to escape in this skirmish?
well, we exercised the better part of valor. Our unit was routed. There was no way that we could have. There's no way that we could have won the fight. We were outnumbered 3-1. It was an ordinary scouting mission, but well, obviously we didn't learn what we needed to.
What is it that you were trying to learn?
You understand. I should not be the one to say, but I am your prisoner.
Oh, I'm certainly not going to torture you for it. And you did say you didn't have anything. You do. And that is information.
Can you make a charm check, Davian?
Charmy check. Wow. I'll upgrade that with my intense focus. What's the difficulty?
It'll be against. We're gonna make it 2 difficulty, but I'm gonna add 3 setback dice. 2 because she's on the opposite side, and 1 because it also puts her people.
Can I get a boost dice since I helped her friend?
Yes, I will give you a boost dice. Cause
Alright. And flex. What do I get? 2 successes.
You're surprisingly charming.
she
Whoa.
kind of bites her lip for a moment, debating on if she should say anything.
No. Cast
We
it.
were sent to investigate the situation of Brimmer. Try and see any movements between movements in and out of the city from Delhurst, from the rest. Try and learn about the status of the council. They've been suspiciously silent ever since ever since Prince Connor made his former Prince Connor made his statement at Brimrad at the end of the year. We were sent here to ascertain what they were doing, if anything. That's all I know.
I see.
We were intercepted by members of the Blood of Legala, though I imagine they may have been disguised members of the Council of Vermin. It's unfortunately not something I know. We weren't here for subterfuge and anything. We were here to watch and listen, maybe intercept missives, unguarded caravans, not a whole small battalion. We didn't stand a chance.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's the price of war and the wage of a soldier.
That it is. All the more reason this war needs to end quickly.
Yes. I suppose on that we can agree. Regardless of anything else.
I don't suppose